We have Steve Best, who joins us via Skype from jolly old England, the British guy who likes the Olympics. Good morning to you.
Steve, Paulina, Jerry, a big tally-ho from Great Britain. How are you doing?
Well, we appreciate your tally-ho, and we send it back to you as well. Some fascinating things that I know you've been looking at. Yesterday was quite a busy Olympic day, including that of controversy, especially with the Chinese badminton team that were throwing the game. I mean, I think everyone is kind of agreeing to that. There's a follow-up to that story. What happened after they left the court?
Yes, well, a lot of people said, Steve, that they should really be disqualified because it's putting the game into disrepute, and that's exactly what has happened. All of the players concerned have been disqualified. The interesting thing is that the Chinese coach, he's come out and taken full responsibility and said it was his idea to tell his players to throw the matches. So they've taken full responsibility, they've apologized. But one of the Chinese players involved, her name's Yu Yang, she's so disillusioned with the whole thing that she's quitting the sport. She's just giving up completely. Wow. But all the players that threw the games, they've been disqualified. And thankfully, the teams have owned up and said, yes, that's fair, we did that, and we'll take the punishment. Wow.
Well, we've been talking about how so many of the Olympiads are heading down to McDonald's and chowing down after the sport, eating all the food they normally don't. So maybe possibly you could get an interview with the Chinese team having Big Macs. That's a possibility.
Very likely, yeah.
Okay. Russian President Vladimir Putin, he's not been to Britain lately, but he's there now. And why?
Well, he's back after 7 years out of the country. He wasn't that happy to be here, apparently. But now he's come here because he wants to check out the judo. Turns out Mr. Putin likes the ippons and the throwing and all that kind of stuff. So he's gone to the judo today. And he actually saw a British woman get through to one of the particular weights, the final of that, by beating the French world champion. So I hope Mr. Putin saw that. So he's been having a good time there. Did you also know, by the way, that Mitt Romney's family is involved in the Olympics?
We've been talking about that with the equestrian aspect of it, right? They have a horse there?
They do. They have a horse in part of the dressage team, and Mrs. Romney is actually there today. She's watching the dressage, but unfortunately the weather here in Britain hasn't been very kind to the horse riders because it's been torrential rain and lightning and thunder. So much so that one of the horses taking part, a Canadian horse, got completely spooked and ran amok, basically. Wow. And that was the big problem, of course, with horses. They can get spooked by bad weather, and that's exactly what happened today.
Well, I thought when you were talking about the dressage that maybe Ann Romney was doing some fashion runway walking, you know, the dressage, a new Olympic sport, but no, that's horse. That's equestrian, right?
It's basically the mechanics of how a horse trots and walks, and it's very precise. They have to do these very careful little movements, and it's very, very tricky.
So the Canadian horses are not used to the British weather, is what it comes down to in that, right?
Well, to be fair, all horses get spooked by bad weather. That one just happened to be the unlucky one that was out there when it started lightning and thundering. Wow. I think any horse would have probably had the same reaction to this.
Well, let me ask you, we've been showing the video of London's mayor, Boris Johnson, getting stuck on his zip wire. We thought this is a terrific way to make a political speech and get all the attention you need. You just zoom down, you get stuck, you got the crowd below you. There's a crowd, an instant crowd that you can talk to. What was the backstory to all this anyway?
Well, I had to explain that Boris Johnson, the London mayor, is the kind of guy that likes to put across the image of being a bit of a bumbling fool. But we all think he's a lot more clever than that. We think he's deliberately bumbling, and a lot of people think he deliberately made this happen, actually. We reckon it was all set up so that it would appear that he got stuck halfway down, and everyone would say, oh, good old Boris, he's done it again. But
so you think it was planned, huh?
I suspect it might have been, yes. It just seems too convenient, really, doesn't it?
Well, and he was there for like, what, 5 minutes? It wasn't that long of a zip line ride that he had either, and then he's just stuck and all the people are there, and he's got, like I said, instant constituents right there.
What happens with these zip lines is they have a kind of brake that goes on just before you get to the end that kind of slows you down, and the brake on this one was a bit too effective and he was stuck there.
And then they had to drag him up, right?
To somebody.
I'm wondering if he lost change from his pocket, if that would be worth anything. You know, I've got a Boris pound here or something.
Well, you know, that'll be the next thing, Boris coins, yeah. I can just see it.
Well, Steve, good. Give me an idea, anything you're particularly looking for today from the Olympic front?
Well, at the moment, we've got some interesting stuff going on. The canoeing finals are going on. We've got some British involvement in that. The other things continuing to go on are fencing. There's judo finals. I'm watching some clay pigeon shooting just over to my right here. That's going on right at the moment. And the swimming continues. That's only got a couple of days left. That'll be on later tonight. And there's more of the American favorite sports, things like volleyball, basketball. They're going on late night, so you guys can get to see it in real time, hopefully.
Great.
And the athletics starts Friday, so not long.
Okay, well, we might be able to pick up a few more golds and shrink that distance between us and China. So thanks, man.
Let's do that, yes.
And we appreciate your support in that. Good job,
Hey,
Steve.
it's always our pleasure. We're having a great time with these Olympics. It's going great, and we're just loving it. So
yeah.
I wish it could go on for longer.
All right, thanks, Steve. Steve Best, the British guy who likes the Olympics here on the Dove.
Oh, yeah. See you tomorrow.
All righty, see you then.